Don't nobody else make me feel like, yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like, don't nobody else make me feel like, don't nobody else make me feel like, yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like, 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 yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like, 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 yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like, 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 yeah. Don't nobody else make me feel like, don't nobody else make me feel like, don't nobody else make me feel like, yeah. Nobody else make me feel like, don't nobody else make me feel like.
So bad that I'm scared. All right, what's up? All right, what's good, guys? Let's do the thing. Let's get in here. Let's find some setups. Morning, everybody. We got Vaughn, DeAndre, Rafa, Seth, Alonzo, Luis. The gang is here. All right, let's see here. Hold on. Something's up with the camera. Man. All right, we're back. All right, this cable is getting ordered today. My bad, y'all. Oh my god. Yeah, it's the one cable. That's the issue. Sorry. Anyways, I will get that as soon as we're done today. That's just gotta happen. Love to be here with everybody. Shout out to y'all that are here consistently. Let's make some moves. So we have New York open here in 5 minutes. Right now, I mean, things are pretty choppy with NASDAQ. Things are pretty choppy with S&P. We do have Dow making the first move. So that first mover's advantage working its way to the low over here. Looking at how the market's moving, we saw Tokyo highs get swept during London session with this nice little clean move to the upside. Funny enough, I still think that the market could work its way back over to here potentially. So we'll dive into kind of what's going on over here. Let's check out a bit more in detail. Well, let's look at YM. Okay, they look the same. Okay, that's good. So YM clears out Tokyo. So Dow Jones here clears out this liquidity, takes out these retail sellers. One more move down, a last leg up. So you have one last drive to the upside here before the market starts to work its way down. Honestly, we chop up quite a bit in here. We chop up quite a bit over here, and then this is still open, so there still might be a deeper move over here that we could get back to. I'm curious to what this drop continues to look like, if we are going to reaccumulate or if this is the beginning of, a continuation to the downside. Now, remember how yesterday started. Yesterday, we had New York open with Dow Jones create a huge push down before it just rallied right away. So we definitely have opportunity over here as well today. At some point, would not be surprising if we work our way down below this 49,000 level, and then, we kind of see where we go from here. So market's moving pretty good. And we can work our way down to here. We'll see how the market, worked its way down. This could end up being quite a big move. So we'll just keep this in mind for now. For now, I'm going to just give us a 3R kind of trading into this order block. But we'll kind of see how it goes. So, yes, we started to see a rejection out of this zone. However, like I mentioned, there is this higher retracement level that's definitely possible to get swept up. So we'll take a look at that, and that'll also help us understand a bit better where NASDAQ and S&P wants to travel to. So if you notice, NQ, S&P still consolidating and trading above yesterday's Tokyo highs. So Asian session kicks off and the market keeps moving forward. It just kind of chops its way up and down. And we have Tokyo and London highs still sitting up here without getting any changes of direction. Like, the trend technically is still a bit more bullish. And now we've just seen pretty healthy pullbacks. The market with NASDAQ specifically has slowly worked its way up or down to this area. And so, we saw a nice little sweep of the low as we're inching our way towards the New York Open. So you have NQ over here, S&P over here as well. So everything is trading down, right? So we have a pretty decent downtrend so far in the market. The question becomes, is this enough confirmation? Like, the market's been trading bullish. Is this enough confirmation to tackle on and add a buy into NQ over here? So we do see a break above this high here on the 1 minute, and we trade towards this area. However, kind of failed to maintain above these highs. So I don't know how much conviction you guys have on a buy in this zone. However, I'm not in love with it. I don't hate it, but this is definitely, only gave us like a 1 minute break of structure, and it really didn't want to go any much higher. So best case scenario with the position like this right now would be either very small risk. So you're going a tiny, tiny risk, or nothing. So in this case, nothing. So this is why we are positioned the way that we are, right? Like, I just didn't see enough proof here, especially since this lost momentum as it tried to break the highs. It just doesn't give enough confirmation that the market wants to continue trading bullish. And the true structure is from here to here. This is the actual structure that we're sitting in right now, would be this entire one, like this move here. So this did respect the very, very low over here, which is fine. Not that something I would trade anyways. So S&P, however, held up in that zone. So we notice S&P held in this area, not quite breaking London lows or Tokyo lows yet. So why is that? And look at Dow Jones on an absolute rocket here. Now, not selling here makes sense. Why, guys? Why wouldn't we sell here? Now, I know we're going back and forth with different ideas, but we couldn't sell in this zone because, and those of you that are watching my sessions all the time, tell me why this idea, this selling zone here made no sense anymore. Who can tell me why? YM is the bull. Exactly. New York Open kicks off and Dow becomes the most bullish. So Dow takes over and is leading the momentum to the upside. You don't want to be the matador in front of the raging bull. Exactly. It's on a speed run. So right now we're seeing NQ and Dow Jones moving in opposite directions. So look at how this is clearing these lows, working its way down to these levels, Tokyo lows, etc. S&P doesn't know what to do. Typically S&P is kind of, split in the middle between both. So to me, it looks like S&P is going to target London lows, maybe even Tokyo lows first, alongside with NASDAQ over here. So I'll set alerts over here. What we have seen already, though, is that now we've seen Dow sweep Tokyo and London lows, and we've seen it take out New York and London highs. So now Dow is in this position where it's liquidated every side of the game. Every side of this has now been taken care of. So now that both have been liquidated, you get to have a pretty good perspective, because now, and I have a sell zone up here as well from January 22nd. We had a nice pump up here before everything dropped. But now we get to experience better decision making. So there's a couple things. Either one, the market stays bullish over here, and we can look for buys maybe down here later on if the market stays bullish over here. Or two, we can, if this would have liquidated and then stayed down here, we could have been looking for a shakeout. Now, let me ask you, here's something else to consider. Is it worth shorting Dow from up here? Is this something that we should be looking for? A sell from Dow Jones up in this range. So as we look at price action, we're seeing Dow still ripping to the upside, and we're seeing NQ still ripping to the downside. The nice thing is now NASDAQ has successfully liquidated Tokyo lows and liquidated London lows. So I don't hate the reversals here from NQ or Dow, and it got a little bit ahead of me because it's starting to reject a little bit now. I wanted to get an opportunity to short this, and when we're seeing divergent setups like this, typically I like to go like a little bit with less risk, just to make sure that we're able to, since they're moving in opposite directions, things can get a little funky. So probabilities still look nice, but they're not always the greatest. So either we're going to miss out on the initial movement like it looks like we are right now. Honestly, explaining this, sometimes I'm not going to lie, I should probably prioritize just taking the fucking trade instead of trying to tell you why the trade's going to work. So anyways, yeah, this has already mitigated or is in the process of doing so. All these alerts coming super late. Thanks, TradingView. So look at how that was a 97 push from way back when. The drop that we just saw here, right? Already 100. So this has we already saw the exchange of money. So I'm not going to chase this trade anymore. Lots of relative equal highs on YM at a higher time frame. Well, I mean, where? Where are those equal highs? These are all clearing liquidity. This took the high. I mean, maybe you're saying this one here. 5 points, cool. You could argue that for sure. That's fine. Either way, this already mitigated, so this already gave the rejection. So playing out of here, already making sense. Looks like you're just not. I'm not going to be able to position myself into that trade, so that's all good. And then from here, so let's say Dow is already doing its thing. Well, what about NQ? NQ swept the lows, so took out Tokyo lows, traded into kind of the lower part of New York, this like last bit of New York price action. So here with NASDAQ, I would have preferred for the market to trade a bit higher. Right? I would prefer for the market to go a bit higher before looking for a buy position on NQ. There is a world in which this does reaccumulate and rally towards Tokyo and London highs. So that's possible. So, but you're seeing two different elements, because now you're seeing Dow Jones want to work down, and it's moving in unison with S&P, and it's moving in unison with NQ. So now, 7 minutes after New York Open, we're starting to see a bit more confluence. We're starting to see more momentum kind of move in unison, whereas we weren't seeing that for the first 5 or 7 minutes of the session. So NQ got the head start today with the drop. NQ started to move its way down and clearing liquidity here, whereas S&P and Dow are, Dow Jones kicked things off very bullish, needed to take out those highs first, and now it's kind of looking to work its way down. So I think overall, like big picture, especially now that we've liquidated these highs and we're trading up into this level, could we see distribution and continuation to the downside and trade down to these areas? Yeah, I think that's 100% possible. I don't know if it makes sense to trade Dow though, because Dow is holding structure pretty well, whereas S&P and NQ are already just relatively bearish. So the question is there a way to find ourselves in a trade here, right? Is there a setup specifically that we could take in order to ride NQ further down? So for example, on the open, right? The open for New York session was this. Here's NASDAQ kicking things off, pushing to the upside, and then selling off. The downside to all of this is, well, you have retail equal highs over here. So looking for a sell over here, a little sketchy. Now, if you look at S&P, however, S&P kicks things off, and you have bullish momentum right here. So here's where this starts. This takes out quite a bit of retail. And then I would enter NQ again on yesterday's New York high for a buy. Oh, for a sell. So you're saying right over here, New York highs. Enter the sell there. Solid. Yeah. I like that. I mean, your stop loss, obviously, I think has to be maybe playing out of structures. So maybe stops a bit wider. I'm not so sure how well this is going to hold up over here, just because of these equal highs. So I definitely can see the reversal out of here. It makes more sense, at least with the information we have right now, to look for NQ sells. And we have a pretty good amount of momentum right here before everything drops. So looking for shorts here, I like, but the equal highs, I don't. So the short makes sense here from a selling perspective. where you have a lot more volume. So if you guys even want to look at the volume, you know, you can clearly see it go down right here. Right here is where, funny enough, it's sellers that own the volume here, and then it tanks. So looking for something here is nice. I think it's more about stop loss placement at this point then. And then stop loss, I would say up here, or just following along to kind of giving yourself a little bit more breathing room. Yeah, that'd be it. Or we put the entry on where we would put out the stop loss. I mean, that's a good point. But that's assuming we're going to work our way back, and we might not be able to. Now that we're starting to fill this imbalance, there might not be a world in which we're able to kind of reposition ourselves. So let's see how this functions, because if we also lose all this momentum and we end up just eating up all of these cells right now, and they're just absorbed super quick, then we might be in a reaccumulation as well. At least, obviously, that's my take. So staying out of Dow for sells, because now everything's moving in unison, and Dow, I think, probably is going to go for all-time highs again or something. It's not too far out from that. So this did its thing. Great. Now we can push a little bit further up into the zone. Maybe there's something here from January 13th, right? We had the high for the year and just, well, ever. So could there be a something going on over here? Yes, but either way, with Dow leading so much with so much momentum, I'm good on getting too caught up in it. I'd rather be patient for these NQ trades over here, and yeah, go for a nice little sell over here. So sell makes sense. Equal highs don't. So yeah, I mean, what you're saying, I like the sentiment, but I don't think we're gonna get it. All right, so let's say that, and we can move on from this here in a second because a lot is happening without this working its way down. So the clear idea now, in my opinion, it's kind of, there's two. There's yesterday's setup, which is looking for a buy where we saw Dow just sweep tons of London session buyers and then rally. So something in here looks clean. And then from there, over here, same thing, in this structure that we saw, the low that was created just seconds before New York Open started, this here also has validity. So we see the market clear out Tokyo, London lows, trade down to these levels, and then rally, seeing a buy out of this zone makes sense. So seeing this drop and then looking for a buy position somewhere over here, I think could be solid. So let's see how long, how price maintains above these highs here. But at this point now, we've seen price trade up here for the last 14, 15 minutes or so. So this is either establishing some sort of reaccumulation, and I think we'll get extra context by seeing where NASDAQ works its way down to. So like now we're seeing NQ trade into this area, little order block, but I mean, this could go even further. So yeah, it would have been nice to be in a short here. Based on how I trade, there's really there wasn't a setup for me to take here at any point. And if anything, yeah, just wasn't anything to take. Sometimes the market's gonna, take massive, just melt or pump, and there just wasn't a way to get in. So that's just reality. All right. For those of you that are new to futures, go ahead and feel free to check out some of the resources we have available to you guys. You'll see the QR codes here. And then same thing, if you're kind of newer to smart money or my approach to trading, same thing. There's a lot of QR codes there. And take advantage. Take advantage of all these free resources you guys have available to you. Sam Altman making tweets saying he loves, yeah, that was yesterday. But, I mean, that's not going to create this move here. It's not going to. Sam Altman tweeting is not, he's not Trump. And no one really gives a shit about Sam Altman. All right, so oil buys. How's that looking, guys? I know you guys were keeping your eyes on oil, possible ideas. Is that still something that y'all are looking for? What's the play here? What happened? What you mean? All right. Oh, I see. I see what you guys are looking at. Okay. Yeah. So let's zoom out a little bit. There's oil setups from a couple weeks back still way down here. So this I think is still worth keeping in mind. We had nice movement to the upside here. Started to see a bit of a distribution, and then we get a gap down. So oil rallies end of day on Friday before we get a big gap down, and we've kept this kind of momentum here. So targeting this area for buys definitely makes sense. I love this kind of move that we're seeing here with oil. So oil working its way down to here. Massive sweep of retail buys in this area overall. So tons of sideways movement. Yeah, this is great. We get all this going over here. You see that last sell-off. And this last drop, if you go down to the 1 minute here at right around 3:13 a.m. Central. So this is London session, creating this London low. You see a nice sweep to the downside before the continuation. So if price with oil here, if we can keep this bullish momentum going for longer, then yeah, this is just like textbook accumulation. You see smart money sells, liquidate, retail buys, they take out multiple sessions worth of liquidity. And then if we can see that buyers are in control above these highs and there's actual demand for this, which seems like there might be, then buys in this zone are pretty much, this is like an A+ setup as long as this can stay above the previous high. And then now it just depends on if you're trading futures prop firms, how much time you get to be able to trade this and to catch a huge trade or not. If you're trading CFD prop firms, then you can swing. If you're trading your own live accounts, then yeah, this would be a trade that I would want to hold for a good time, for sure. So let's send this one over. This one's getting close to, I'd say, being just ready. So let's go over today's setups. February 3rd, 2026. And we have oil. The longer the high that we're seeing, the longer this high is held, the better, potentially forming an A+ M&M model. These are the M&Ms. All right. Okay, working our way back to NQ respecting this order block here. So rejected this, bouncing. I don't think this is going to be the end of this move. I think we're going to continue to rally downwards, or not to rally, so to drop. As you guys are seeing, Dow is holding up super well here. So now we've been trading above these highs for the last 25 minutes, 20 minutes. So the buy makes more and more sense for me over here. I'm sure at some point we'll work our way down here. So I'm willing to take a swing at buys here with Dow. And then there's a chance we might just get a small bounce and then it works and it looks for this. So I'll take a conservative trade on this. Do I trade with a trend? Sometimes. Sometimes. News in 10. It's not a red folder news though. What is it? I forgot what we have going on. Something light. What kind of news are you talking about? Let's see. Yeah, this won't really do anything. So yeah, these yellow folder news, they don't really do much. I don't know, maybe it's a red folder on some other website or something, but yeah, this is not going to influence the market really significantly whatsoever. It shows jolts on yours? Really? Huh. Let's see, am I good? Well, let's get a consensus. Y'all, everybody else, check what's going on, what you guys see, and then let me know. Yeah, I figured since we have temporary government shutdown, we're not going to see it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, BLS should be eliminating it. They removed it. Awesome. All right, great. So we're seeing Dow start to work its way lower. I'm open to taking a position here for a little bounce. So for a short-term bounce here. So something like here. A little buy action. This is holding really, really well. So getting into, honestly, yeah, a little over a 2R. I'm with it. Okay. Now, I haven't looked at metals today, so let's take a look and see what's good with metals. Right now, they've continued to work their way up, so that drop that we saw over here, right, when we traded all the way down and liquidated all of these retail buyers, did a great job filling in balance, and then we haven't quite worked our way back to these levels, but we're seeing a lot stronger trading above these highs. So the 15-minute structure is now holding up very well. I'm sure, like, looking for a short somewhere in here, I totally understand. However, I don't see one. I don't really see a way to get into shorts here. Gold trading more bullish than silver. Right? Silver kind of having a hard time working its way to the upside. So, for example, gold is already trading back where we saw price action on Friday around 11 a.m. Central. Silver still not quite there yet. Actually pretty close. These just are okay, interesting. Silver was just a lot more bearish. So, but it hasn't been, working its way up as aggressively, squeezing a little bit differently. But either way, silver worked its way down really well. So everything's very efficient now here with silver. I was still in from yesterday's sell and just closed out. Solid. Where was your stop if you were selling yesterday? So solid price action over here. Let me remove this. We had, if you ended up taking any sort of silver buys, then obviously you're very happy. There was this nice play right out of here. So you see a very clean push down. This happens towards the during yesterday's New York session. Nice push down continuation. We see the market reverse and play right out of this order block. I don't think we've actually closed off this big sell-off because of the imbalance we see right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get back down to here, specifically down into this imbalance a bit later on. And then everything else, though, out of here is pretty efficient. So for buys, I'm not really looking for anything with silver unless we get back under 78. But waiting it out. This is not something I'm going to rush with. And then if we're looking for shorts with silver, yeah, I don't know. I just don't love what we had left behind over here with, like, there's this nice move up here from 98 to like 101, and then we kind of chop up and down. So it's still not like worth taking a stab at this. And then price action everywhere else is just very efficient, healthy retracements. There's not really any imbalances left behind. So yeah, no, I mean, not really going to be doing too much with metals unless it's just abundantly clear what the idea is here. And for now, I'm holding off. Yeah. So I know there's a ton of volatility. So unless you're getting, I don't know, just different setups, or you're a lot more convicted on trading like 1 minute ideas with metals, which they could be working out for you, right? I'm not here to say that they won't. I just don't trade 1 minute time frame gold like I would trade, or silver like I would trade with indices. However, it's very much possible more backtesting can show that these kind of plays can work. But even then, like, there's just not really too much that I would want to be taking a stab at here. Even if it's like 1 minute setups, it's not too much I want to get involved in there with metals. Mike, do you think there might be a reversal on NQ on the 15-minute imbalance? Let's see. So Dow now working its way lower. S&P still crashing. And then NQ working its way down. Sweet. So NQ right now playing into this order block. It's almost at New York Open, yesterday's New York Open. So, I mean, we had the right idea. Like, well, we would have kept holding this sell had we been able to get in the sell. And right now, it's definitely targeting New York Open. So clearing New York Open or just getting into this New York Open candle makes sense. Could see reversals out of there. I wouldn't buy NQ since it has the most bearish momentum. It's lining up for, in my opinion, for Dow to work out. So I'm gonna set this limit order here with Dow Jones. I think we could trade out of here. And then we can see this start to continue to rally from this area. Just trading into, into the zone. Let's see. Structure held up here for a decent amount of time, so I'm open to seeing this roll out. And then we have NQ pretty close. It's already, so now it's in the creation of that New York Open candle. So whether it's going to reverse out of here or break below, makes sense. I don't like the wick on the 1 hour on Dow. For the way I look at the market, I'm not too concerned on candlestick, like one candlestick. So the 1 hour, cool, there's a wick, but it only became a wick because in the last 5 minutes it dropped. But the majority of the hour is spent trading above, or the majority of the last 30 minutes at least, is maintained above these highs. So that at least shows me that there was more demand up here than there was down here. So I'm still willing to, to approach it this way. But if you're not convinced, then yeah, don't take it, or take it with less risk. Because at the end of the day, it's a spectrum. It's like your risk, you have, I think, your risk discipline. So you have exactly what your consistent risk is going to be. And then if there's a variable or a confirmation or a context in general that's like, this kind of lowers the probability for something to work out, then reduce your risk. And then as over time, if you keep noticing that when that one confirmation is missing, those trades just don't work, then you can just eliminate that setup model completely. Or like that's a sign like, okay, if this one confirmation is missing, this setup isn't worth it anymore. Yeah, so we're seeing NQ keep dropping. And actually, let's look at S&P. Where's S&P going to? S&P similar, breaking below these order blocks. And then it's New York open candle. So where the volume kicks in really starts like right here. Here's the close of that first minute. So here's where you see everything really kick things off, like right there, right? That first minute. So S&P working its way down to here. Definitely possible. Look at the volume. Man, this is a lot of money. A lot of money pouring in here. Right now we're starting to see, buyers, retail buys holding on to this tiny little order block right there. I think this is the last wave that entices buyers one more time before it dips down again. My take, at least. See, Bitcoin, I'm assuming, also working its way down. Okay, perfect. Yep, this is fitting the description here. Notice how Bitcoin didn't break the highs. Struggled to do so. And Bitcoin, on the other hand, hasn't quite worked its way down to... So we already broke below yesterday's New York Open for Bitcoin here. This is now trading into the imbalance. I think Bitcoin works its way down further, though. So that initial bounce from out of that New York Open zone, pretty strong with all of these. What do you guys think? Will this just respect NQ's New York Open into the candle, or are we going to break below this? What are your thoughts? How's this one going? All right, so while that does what it wants to do, I'm going to go show you guys a couple other things here. So let's go take a look at, you guys are asking me about majors, right? So we can go see, you know what's crazy is this is a come up story. What blows my mind is all the employees, like the biggest come up of the year, I think, for just, I don't know, the average, not the average, but like just you know, people in general, employees, are all the Twitter, the X employees. Because these guys, Elon comes in, fires like everybody, just like drastically reduces who's employed at Twitter, and then does a hiring process, very unique. Basically like, hey, these are going to be 16-hour days. It's going to be insane. It's going to be hard. But if you want to work in the coolest, whatever, the most like driven place ever, pull up, right? So they downsize the employees, the companies like crazy. And then these guys have been grinding for, I don't know how many years now. I don't know how long Elon's owned Twitter for, maybe like 2 or 3 years. And then now, and obviously they have the whole process with X and then XAI. So, XAI, that merges together. And then now SpaceX absorbs XAI, and SpaceX is going to, IPO in, I think they're evaluated at $1 trillion. So basically, any employee at Twitter, they get shares. They get stock options, and so now their stock options are going to roll over into pre-IPO SpaceX options, stocks, shares. Dude, that's just insane to me. Like, all those employees are going to be so damn rich. It's sick. They just had the vision. All right. A little side note there, but NQ here, very close to clearing the lows. Yesterday's New York open lows. And then we're seeing S&P approaching that initial volume boost that we saw over here. And meanwhile, Dow is still holding the line down here. Still, like, think about it this way. NQ is way down here and Dow is chilling up here. That's why buys for me just make more sense. But yeah, what a come up. What a come up. You don't see a shakeout on Dow? Let's see. Maybe there's a shakeout on Dow. So initially clears liquidity here. So we already had cleared liquidity. It built up, and then it made another move. And then this second leg up, right, takes out the highs, bounces out of the imbalance, and then drops. So not really. For me, when I'm looking for a shakeout, it has to do with the sweep of liquidity, which we already saw here and then here. So, nah, I'm not looking too short. But if you see it and you have evidence that a setup like that form makes sense, then cool. Because the thing is, like, at least for me, a shakeout model, and also I wouldn't want to sell what's way more bullish than everything else. Like, if this already shows us that it has very little bearish momentum, why take the sell? So yeah, you see basically this, right? Like here, if this move where it took out liquidity first, let me just, hold on. Let me reorganize this. I'll show you with the replay tool. So here, see, this is where we initially take out the highs. So at this moment, we have a liquidation of retail sellers. If in this moment we see the market lose demand, just not hold it, let's say do something like this, and then we work our way over to here, awesome. I take that. Because then it's incentivized to take out this imbalance or these lows, something like that. But what happens is that doesn't happen. And the market trades a little bit, chops up and down, and then we have another sweep, right? Now, shakeout setups work best based off of the sheer amount of liquidity it's eliminating. So now these highs, this takes out like 9 minutes worth of liquidity, and that's it. And I guess you could say it takes out this high over here. So, you know, a little bit over there too. And then after that, the market then, so even then, this isn't really the same amount of money that would cause an exchange, like a sell-off. So the similar process you would want to see here, which would have been, okay, well, if this immediately worked its way down, you know, lures in more buyers, now there's an incentive to take out the retail buyers. So here we would want to see the market drop. Right, you'd want to see the market drop like this, start to form retail buyers by incentivizing them. Stops go here or maybe even here. And then retail buys start to get into profit, so you see that movement come in. And then the incentive would be to clear them out here. That didn't really happen. So it's kind of very quick, back up and down. And then now we're trading where we're trading. So, yeah, that's why I guess it's not, I don't see it that way, but I understand kind of why you would. Yeah, that's just my take, though. Again, this is just my perspective of how I interpret the market. I'm never here to say I'm right, and it's the only way to see things. Plenty of people trade differently and have great results. I'll just show you what I do. I'm just a dude, you know, on the internet here. All right, so NQ now has just wicked below that New York Open. S&P not quite in that, you know, the New York Open move right here. That's that influx. I want to see S&P get down here too. Doesn't need a break below, but I do want to see it get into the zone. Yeah, and if you don't like that setup, for sure, if like you're like, I'm just not sold on it, I get it. This isn't a plus setup, at least the way you see it. Honestly, because I see what we're seeing, where the market kind of loses momentum. What I like a lot about this is that despite NQ and S&P literally just bleeding out and trading all the way over here already, like NQ is literally at yesterday's New York Open, Dow is just holding this up. If there wasn't such a massive divergence, I would have traded this with less risk. But it's just such a massive difference that I'm willing to, like, I still like taking a $500 risk on this. Even now, we're still holding, like, it's just really not dropping. Like, we're barely getting into the New York Open from today with Dow, while everything else is at yesterday's. All right, let's see. Peso setup, sick. Some Roblox alert went off, but I'm not really looking to do that. 6M setting up for a buy. And 6A, similar. Okay, cool. Sweet. If we break below here again, then I'll be in tune. If this keeps ripping, though, with Dow Jones, I wonder if this drop from over here. Like since we started to kind of see this right at 8 a.m. trickle its way down, I wonder if this is the play. If this is already starting to mitigate. All right, let's go look at the peso. See what you guys are cooking up over here. Okay, for sure, I see it. So we have higher time frame, lows taken out, trades into this imbalance, and then continuations way up into here. Structure flips. Market's trading really nicely. Yeah, this looks good. Got equal highs over here. Yeah, Mexico on the come up right now. I'm curious if it would distribute from here. We had that big pump into this area. Same thing here, but this creates equal highs. Actually, it's just a notch lower, but there's highs before this, it seems like. No, it is equal highs. So into here, but we rebalance pretty well, so I don't think it's really worth taking. But I definitely see the buy. Clean move here, nice drop, continuation. And then buying really in this zone looks good. A little 1 hour setup. You have good examples of support here in the past. So trading this here. Yeah, I like this. Very nice. Trading that around there is good. Honestly, you might even be able to take your stop a little bit lower or a little higher. Tighten up if you want to. I guess it'll be personal preference. We'll see how far this can go. But 2.5R conservatively feels easy. Just playing into previous levels of support. Yeah, I haven't had a 6M trade in a minute. Same. All right, so Dow took out this high. Very aggressive reaction. NQ. All right, let me zoom out. So, okay, zooming out some more. There is possibility still for NQ to work its way down to this last sell-off over here. Maybe. S&P as well could work its way down to there. S&P still, I think, can drop, though. Like, S&P still haven't even traded into New York Open volume over here or lower. So there's still incentive for this to go lower. But Dow, my biggest question here with Dow Jones is whether do we see, like, is this a fair... So let me go over here. The market trades into this, so it trades into New York Open price action. We see things start to fall off from here very, very slowly, right? Minimally. and then just like literally no volume, just dropping. And the whole point of this here is, what's up with this thing? Where does this sweep liquidity, right? So we start to see the market clear the lows. More so, the lows are, support is sitting over here. It's sitting down here where the London lows are at. So I don't think we've really exchanged. Like, we haven't traded into these last point of supplies where we really have reversal zones. So this making another leg down seems to me like it would push S&P down to its New York Open area too. So I'm still good with this. And we really start to see the big push down happen after building up here anyways. So I'm still open for the buys. Yeah, so that's what I'm contemplating right now, Harshi. Whether it mitigated that or not. Because like we start to see it slowly drop, but then we move sideways, we're chopping up. You know what I mean? So like from here, it looks like we build up liquidity some more. So if we just zoom in over here, it looks like we're building up more support, and then we start getting our last leg down. So do we see an exchange of maybe money from this area? Possibly, but even then, is this could be. So let's say we wanted to cut our risk in half, which I think is not a terrible idea. Could be doable. So considering that I'm not sure if we've mitigated this, considering the higher time frames or the lower time frames, I'm not against risking less on this idea now. I'm going to actually drop my risk down for this one. So I'm going to go flip to less risk because I'm not sure. So I'm using half risk on this. And then, however, based on how we're trading, I am willing to see it go a little higher. So willing to see this run almost a 4R. So less risk up front, but if it does play out, then we might be able to go further. So the profit might end up being equaling out just about the same. Yeah, no, I mean, these are great considerations. All right. We haven't looked at the majors, right? So majors, started trading into this imbalance because these things started to rip. Dollar just was getting bodied, so they started working their way down. Now they're rallying a little bit. Okay, cool. Hold on, I guess we'll come back to that. S&P looks like it's trading. Oh my bad. Confirm. There you go. Looks like it's working its way now to the New York Open. So here now we're in this New York Open, that fresh 1 minute move. NQ tumbling down. I wonder if NQ is gonna want to trade out of this bad boy right there. I'm not buying NASDAQ. NQ and S&P are not buys options for me. And now we're seeing this hold up here really nice, really well. This thing is just, Dow is just like impenetrable right now. It's like, I'm not going down. You can't make me. Crazy work. All right, well, still got time there. Pound cleared the lows, traded back into the imbalance before. It looks like it's kind of reaccumulating here. The yen way more bearish. Never came back for this one. We wanted a short here. Directionally, we were on the right path, but looks like the market didn't want to get there yet. But in terms of buys, for sure, the peso looks really clean compared to everything else. So let's zoom in a little more here with the dollar. Wow. Dude, the Dow Jones is not playing. Not letting us in. We're not invited, I guess. So smaller time frames, if we start to look at the majors here, Australian tried. It's really trying to go bullish, but when it did, it failed. Took out the highs, and then it's starting to lose momentum. So now it's going back, working its way back down. However, even when it does look to make a break below, it's, at least as of right now, how this is looking, it's more so a rebalancing to continue going up rather than a change of direction. NZD, a bit more bearish still. Euro, definitely more bearish. So Euro with the sells are looking very nice still over here. So I have this marked up. Euro, definitely not the buyer by any means. It's dropping. So we need a nice bull run. So we need the dollar to start losing some strength again to get Euro back up here to be able to short. So I do like this Euro short. And we've had this marked up since last week. So it's just a matter of time. That's why currencies just take a little bit longer for the setups to show up, to be valid. So yeah, you got to just wait. At least for me, I don't really trade currencies every day. The setups, like just really good, clear setups, aren't available as often. But they're definitely there. If you let them form, they'll like, you'll get the clean ones. So 6E has a setup there. Pound actually gave us the short already. It wasn't my favorited form. Like, this came down and up really quickly. I don't like setups like that. A lot of these fail and they'll just rally higher, but this one didn't. And that happens too. And then the yen, same thing. The yen has one, but that's, far. So we have that. The pound as well. But the pound is holding up. Like, it's not dropping as much, so the pound might just clear a lot of this. Pound is leaving behind quite a bit of trendline liquidity too. So we got a lot of liquidity sitting here right now. It's starting to break through though. And then the euro has a similar setup. So look at this. This is a London session on Friday, last Friday, the high. If you look at Swiss franc has a similar idea where it clears the highs and then drops, leaving some liquidity too. So pretty similar. Euro just showing is a bit like the buyers are just way suppressed with euro. Like, it's just not, it's not even doing anything. It's barely moving on up. So at this point, I think it's like, set the alerts, be prepared, and then whatever gets there last will be the trade. All right, so right now, Dow is doing a pretty good job filling in balances and then dropping, filling and dropping. So it's doing that really well. S&P not quite clearing liquid New York Open yet either. So zoom out a little bit. I think we could still work our way down to here. So let's set the alert on S&P. This one's a game of patience today. It is every day. All right, that's majors for the most part. Euro really the one that I like the best. For buys with any sort of dollar pair, It's really not there. I think Australian might be the only one that has kind of like is starting to show something, but need a bit more proof. But yeah, I mean, Aussie here drops during Sunday's Tokyo session, drops down. So definitely sweeps another and then starts to run, but right now not convincing. We see it just liquidates the highs and then drops down. So we'll have to see. Metals squeezing. Looks more like a toss-up for metals. Peso chilling. This is confirming more and more. And then Bitcoin bouncing out of that imbalance. Moving on to stocks today. UPS still ripping. Dividends paying out here soon too. What is you? Let's see, we got Chipotle doing decent. Lucid kind of squeezing still. Intel under 50. What are the losers of the day? PayPal, holy shit. That's insane. Just cleared out, trading down to here. Yeah, I got into it as well. Massive liquidations here. Q4 earnings missed expectations, reporting EPS. That's a big move. Biggest losers, Spotify, still working its way down. Got a nice little gap down here. All right, we got, see, solar stuff bouncing today. Okay. What's you again? Is this the mobile apps? I think you, if I'm a Unity stock, I believe is the producer of tons of like 50% of the mobile games on like, yeah, just in general. So if this is your sector, the gaming sector, worth checking out. The gaming sector took a hit today, entertainment sector. Roblox, not really looking to do anything here since these guys have a weird pedo thing going on. This is what TTWO. This is GTA creators. So looking for this to keep working its way down some more. Coinbase finally working its way down to here. Got a nice little mitigation zone on Coinbase. Of all of these right now, if I would be adding positions to anything, I really like Coinbase at these levels, and then I like Intuit. This is one that Nance has been bringing up. So Intuit, oh wow, Intuit bodied. It just did not bounce out of that level at all. All right, perfect. So, all right, we can get some more. These better prices. Because Intuit now partnered with a firm, which is mental. So yeah, they partnered with a firm in QuickBooks options. So, wow, that's a really big partnership, honestly. So this is a typical good news, bad pricing. And I think this is going to get eaten up. Oh, yeah. Sick. All right. Working our way back here to indices. We're seeing S&P work its way down, NQ work its way down, Dow still pushing over here. So, I mean, I think it was Jay, I saw Jay in the chat, right? He was, I think you were probably looking for the shorts in here, right? Like this is what you were looking for, a sell out of the zone over here somewhere. So your play is looking pretty good right now. I'm not sure if he took it or not, but it just wasn't my trade. So from here, circle headed to IPO price. Nice. So this is getting closer to the entry that I want to see for, and it's a half risk entry for Dow Jones. This is, and as S&P is getting closer and closer to that New York Open zone 2. So yeah, I'm gonna keep waiting this out. But yeah, guys, good stuff right now. I think if you are looking to add to your portfolio, I think there's plenty of great options out there, whether it's Intuit, Coinbase, that gap down with PayPal is a big one. So if you're feeling these hits on some of these, then maybe could reconsider how. All right, so the mic had to go off so it could be serve me as a reminder to buy the cable right now. That's why it had to happen. It's all good. All right, guys. So good sesh right now. Obviously, no execution on anything yet. Been just waiting. We wanted to sell NQ off the rip, but there wasn't really a setup to take. So sadly, we missed out on that massive drop. But don't let FOMO or what you think you deserve or what you thought you were entitled to, don't let that get in the way of what it is that you need to be doing. Okay? Make sure of that. Now, to start February off, guys, we are opening up 5 slots for the syndicate. So all of you here that are, and I want you to really think about your progression so far. So the programs that we run here are to serve you, to maximize your progress. What's cool is we just recently, I had a revelation on a couple new funding strategy techniques that I think now make sense mathematically, financially, and risk reward wise. Because I know now our syndicate members they're crushing it. They can get on really nice runs. And in combination with this new approach on how to tackle on these funded accounts, I believe that these testimonials are about to get absolutely insane. So super excited to see that. If you want to be part of that, then feel free to book a call to see if it makes sense for you, if you're the right fit for it. So yeah, anyways, always guys, much love to y'all. We appreciate you for plugging in every day, showing up. If you're not in position, well, you don't even know if you're in position yet, right? You don't. So find out if it's the right fit for you. But for everyone else, keep taking advantage of these sessions. Use this time to learn, to really learn, interpret the market. Ask questions while you're here. You might not understand something while you're live. Ask questions. Get some. I'm more than happy to explain things and help you guys out. I want this community, whether you're in the syndicate or not, to be making millions through this. There's no reason not to. In the age that we're in right now, with the resources that we have, there's never been a better time to be a trader. Ever. So let's make it happen, guys. Much love. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Take care, y'all.